A lot of viewers have asked what my overall aims are with here and what I'm doing, so I'm going to use this video to try and explain that. I basically want to use the space I have, the skills and the knowledge I have to try and make a place where I can produce what I need, produce enough to make an income as well, and have a lot of space for wildlife and have a kind of a blending, a harmonizing of human and nature, rather than a sort of a take and grab and disregard approach. So I want the whole thing to be kind of harnessed towards both being good for me and good for nature as well. So I've tried to incorporate as many different types of habitats and environments as possible, whilst sort of deciding which areas are the best ones for my vegetables, which ones are the best bits for orchard, and then sort of planting the woodlands and putting the ponds in other areas as well. So it's got everything in kind of the best location to be the most productive for me and for the wildlife here as well. One of the ways I can maximize the habitats is by landscaping, and here's one place that's being landscaped at the moment, which has been on a few recent videos. And here we're sort of cutting a woodland channel, which is making the pond kind of bigger and making it overlap with these woods. So instead of just being like a woods just gradually sloping down that way as if we just planted it, it's now got all these different habitats. It's got bits facing different directions, different levels. Some bits are thin soil, thick soil, sunny bits, shady bits, and there's loads of different environments, bits that are damp, bits that are dry. So it's loads of different habitats, loads of different plants, and then of course that would in turn mean loads of different animals. So here we're sort of cutting all this back to make a channel around this island here. And of course another way is by introducing as many native species to the wild areas as possible. And we have literally all the native species that we could think of that would grow in a place with a clay soil we've got, really. And we try and have as much biodiversity as possible. And of course this means you get more plants, more types of insects, more types of predators like birds and mammals, and just like more plants at the base of it, more habitats for more plants, more animals, more nature, and this place becomes like a sink for nature, because the surrounding area is mostly farmland. You know, it's not a great deal of a wilderness or anything here, so we're trying to create as much kind of bits of wilderness as possible, but kind of like designer wilderness, so it's sort of got as many different environments as possible, so that it's all here in this one little space. It's good to have so much of the land as a crop. So as well as like growing our own vegetables and being as self-sufficient as possible, it's also nice to have something that you can sort of sell. So we've got so much orchard, and that creates a yield, that sort of food going out of the land. But we also have bulbs, which we make more from, really. But it's just, I wanted to have so much of the land that's actually used to grow some kind of crop. So it's like food going into the system, and that's very good. It's like makes the land productive. So so much of it is orchard. Orchard is quite nice because you can walk about in it, and we leave the grass until all the flowers are finished. We cut it in maybe July, but it looks very untidy when the grass is very long. But the geese have eaten paths through it, which is quite handy, so we don't have to mow a path through it. But in probably July we'll mow it all, and then again at the end of the year. So yeah, it's very good to have like so much of the land for this, and an orchard is somewhere you can kind of walk about on, and you also get a bit of cover as well, so it's kind of a nice environment as well. And the meadow under an orchard is like a kind of semi-shady meadow, so it's like halfway between the woods and a meadow. So I'm waiting to see what kind of interesting plants appear in here. We have snake's head fritillaries in here and cowslips so far, but as it matures, more and more interesting plants will arrive here, and it'll be in its own little unique environment. Another thing we do here is we design the whole land so that it catches all of the rainwater and stores it in these ponds. Ponds, of course, are brilliant for wildlife, and also means we've got a permanent supply of water, because we don't have any permanent watercourses here. So the pond water is a resource. It's good water. You can just filter it, and it's just like drinking water, but without all the nasties put in it. And this is very, very drought proof. It's really deep, and it's quite new, this one. We've got one that's much more established. But yes, so all of the rainwater just gets channeled through the design of the land and ends up in these drainage ditches. So we've always got a good supply of water, but it also means that the water table is helped. So all this water will stop the water table dropping in the ground when there's really dry weather. And of course, we've replaced all of the straight ditches with winding little channels and the ponds, so more water soaks into the ground as well, so we have a much more protected environment with a nice, safe, topped up water table. Another thing we do is plant lots of native hedgerows, as well as native woodland. Native hedgerows divide up areas really well, and of course each one is like a little mini woodland, a little tube of mini woodland that connects woods together, so woodland plants and animals can travel through the hedges to get to different woodlands. They are very good to have, and we plant really every year some hedges. This one here divides with the orchard behind it, and then this one here, there's going to be a subtropical garden behind there which still needs to be landscaped. And so they are brilliant for dividing different areas. And to stop them, so I know where they start and stop, I have them all on these mud banks here, like this one. And then any trees that start growing down here, they can be dug up in the winter and planted somewhere else, because I don't want that. I know then that the woods finishes here. So these nice little mud banks are good, and they also act as watersheds as well, because anything that falls either side of them will go to potentially a different place. The more I can produce here, the less money I need to spend, and then the more time I can spend here. So it's really good if you can make an income or a saving from your land, because both are really the same. The more you have, the less you need to earn. So yeah, it's really good. These raspberries are nearly ready. They're like summer raspberries. They'll be just starting, just a few of them are just starting to go purple. And these were in rows originally, but they've just gone into a mess here. But they are very useful. I always get tons off them. So also from the hedges and from the woodland we get wild strawberries and wild garlic and all sorts of things that we forage from the woods, which saves us loads of money as well. But it's very important to sort of grow as many things as you can, because then you are making yourself less dependent on the rest of the system, and you are then more resourceful, and it means that if there are shortages elsewhere, that you don't have the shortages. The fish are a good resource as well. It's good having them there. I mean, nobody's ever fished in here. I've never eaten any of them. But in the event of like a major global event and there being a food shortage or something, the fish here are a resource. Also, if I was skint, I could rent the ponds out to fishermen. I could do catch and release. That's very popular around here, and the fish are pretty big. So the fish are like a resource. There's also like water birds that come and eat some of the fish. There's some amphibians and things. There's all sort of loads of things that come and drink from the ponds. So it's really good for wildlife. All the fish we have are wild species, and the common carp are not native, but just about everything else is. You can see them all eating there. They get really big. I just feed them every other day or so. I don't feed them in the winter. They don't really take much to feed. And one of my viewers suggested the other day to make fish food out of fermented stinging nettles, and I am looking into that, because that could be very good. Everything you think you discover like that, it saves you more money. I mean, fish food doesn't cost much, but you know, if I can make it myself, that's better. And it looks quite easy to do. So yeah, fish are a brilliant resource as well. I like to also have entertainment and interest. So I've got ponds are always interesting, woods are interesting, lots of places here to explore, lots of places to look around, lots of different wildlife and plants to look at. wild and cultivated. So where it would have been before, originally this was just half a field, just nothing apart from hedges on two sides. There was a hedge on that side up there and a hedge on that side. The other side there was just a barbed wire fence. It was just basically a field, about that kind of gradient, or half a field. So it's just basically that's what it started like, because people did ask me that as well. So yeah, entertainment, boats on the pond, that's good entertainment as well. And ponds provide endless entertainment, so it's always having things to do here. And I like to have the vegetables and the garden sort of close to where I am based, and then sort of the orchard a bit further away, and the woods kind of further away still. So the things I need the most are the nearest to me, so it's less effort to look after them. And then the things I don't have to look after as much, like the orchard, can be a bit further away, and it can make use of places that are a bit drier as well. Always like think of the best place for the vegetables, where I've got easy access to the ponds, where I can easily water them. Because remember, I don't have any mains of water here or anything, so I've got to get all the water in watering cans from the ponds, so I want it to be really, really close. And that sort of works really well here. I mean, here's like woods around the top here, so all of the top, the north, all of the places where cold winds can come from, I've got like raised up and protecting me and sheltering me from all the winds. And I've tried to make it a bit more open from the southern side, you know, so I'm maximising the sunlight, warmth, shelter, trying to make the place as perfect as possible and as sheltered as possible, so I can grow as many things as I possibly can, and trying to make it into as perfect a possible environment for all the things I want to use it for. So that's basically it, I suppose. I'll probably do a longer video about this at some point. I've based what I want to do on the 12 principles of permaculture, which I have done a video about. And it's all about sort of just living in harmony with nature, producing what I need, but then still looking after nature as well. Because I see people as like the custodians of the planet. We're responsible for it. We need to look after it. And so producing as much as we can ourselves means we're not having things transported across the world to feed us. We can produce as much as possible, and the more self-sufficient everyone is, the better. And I want to be as self-sufficient as I possibly can, including all utilities as well, but I haven't got to that stage yet. So eventually I want to put like an eco home here, which I want to build under specific guidelines, only using so much space, because I want to base it on like a 1950s council house, like 5 meters by 5 meters, so that's like 5 yards by 5 yards, no more than that floor space, because I think I don't want to be extravagant, and big houses take a lot of cleaning, and then I want to spend more time in the garden, you know. So well, I want to sort of make a house that produces its own water. I want to collect the water off the roof. I want to generate electricity somehow with it. I want to be not connected to anything at all. So that's sort of my aim. See if I can balance on this. I just feel the urge. Whoa. Yeah, that's okay. Right. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please like and subscribe. If you press the little me, which is somewhere down there, you can see all my other videos. Whoa. And if you have any questions, please ask. And I shall see you next time.